Bang, bang, Prigozhin hit the ground. Bang, bang, his baby shot him down. Evgeni Prigozhin was the persona number one in Russia, in the entire country, not too long ago, 12 months to the day. In August of 2022, he was publicly touring Russia's maximum security prisons, recruiting Russia's worst criminals you can ever imagine, murderers, child molesters, rapists, thieves, psychos, even cannibals, into his private army called ЧВК Wagner. He was putting fear into the heads of many Russians. The politicians were hailing him, the propaganda people were hailing him. Putin himself was fond and pleasant of him. Everyone in Putin's government wanted to be friends with Prigozhin. Or should I rephrase it? I think they were afraid of not being friends with him. Prigozhin started getting shaped as a strong man. Whoa, and in Russia that's important. As you know, Russians love strong men. So he was arguably the most popular person in Russia 1 year ago, August, September, somewhat October, and, the best and biggest strongman, at least he was shaping up as one. And you know where the strongmen of Russia end up? On the very top. Today, Evgeni Prigozhin is dead. Like a dog by her master, he was killed in front of everyone. His private plane was shot down. One of the private planes was shot down some 35 miles away from one of the Putin's homes in the very heart of Russia, not too far from Moscow. In the airspace extensively controlled by Russian air defense system. Imagine 35 miles from where Putin lives. Well, at least spends some time. Let's talk of how Russian politicians will behave now and how political landscape will be changed by Prigozhin's murder, and what's coming next, and most importantly, who will be next. Let's do it. Howdy everyone, my name is Konstantin and welcome to Inside Russia, where usual Russia is explained by the unusual Russian. What you will not find here is BS, propaganda or lies. What you will find is truth, common sense and logic and some emotions, because I am a human being. And you will find quite a bit of information about what's happening in Russia in the 24 hours after Evgeni Prigozhin was murdered. Let's talk about it. First, briefly what happened, in case you missed everything, you missed the news, you missed the biggest news of Russia of the past 24 hours, and in case you missed my stream yesterday, which I covered Prigozhin's death extensively. There isn't much to talk about here. One of Prigozhin's private jets was shot down and Prigozhin hit the ground. Well, you could say differently. You could say that he had a hard landing, a very hard landing. Or you could say that it was not Russian Army's C-200 missile that killed him, but it was good old force of gravity. He's dead. Is it true? Is it for sure? Oh, that I've been asked so many times in the comments, in the emails, yesterday in the live stream chat. Is that true? Perhaps it's a fake. His body was recovered yesterday, was identified, and now it's laying in a local morgue at a local hospital. So it's pretty close to 100% chance that Evgeni Prigozhin is actually dead. Was his death unexpected? Heck no. After the mutiny, his fate was absolutely decided. In the stream from, I believe it was either 24th or 26th or 27th of June. Well, the link, I'm going to put it right over here. So go check it out if you missed it by some reason. So in that stream, I said that he was most obviously, most definitely the dead man walking. Watch that stream, and you'll see what I was talking about. It is absolutely clear who killed him, or, perhaps just gave orders to kill him. It's pretty obvious. All fingers point into one direction, and it's not left, it's not right, and you know what? I think you have pretty good understanding of what that direction is. Do I feel sorry for the guy? Every time I try to feel sorry for Evgeni Prigozhin, and I've thought of it quite a bit today, I close my eyes and I see the picture of the duct-taped Wagner fighter who had defected to the Ukrainians and somehow was returned back to Wagner by the Ukrainians for some reason unknown to me. He's had, duct-taped to a hard surface, and he gets smashed. His head gets smashed with a sledgehammer. That video is out there, available for anyone to see. But if you haven't watched it, I highly not recommend. I do not recommend watching that because it's going to haunt you in your worst nightmares. It's so brutal. I see Prigozhin commenting that it was excellent directing, worthy of an Oscar about that killing. I imagine that. I don't really feel sorry for the guy. And I also imagine, I close my eyes and I imagine his right-hand man, Dmitry Utkin, the hardcore criminal, the real Nazi with swastikas and SS signs tattooed all over his body. I imagine how many innocent Ukrainians he murdered himself and at his order, and Russians for that matter, how many Russians he murdered. And I don't feel sorry for that guy either. Perhaps it's wrong, please forgive me. But I'm being honest with you. I do not feel sorry for them. And that's pretty ironic, this Nazi guy. I mean, everyone knew he was Nazi. Everyone could see his swastikas, his tattoos. There are pictures all over internet about him. And the Russian government was telling us that they sent decent Russians to Ukraine to fight Nazis, where in reality the real Nazis came to Ukraine to kill innocent Ukrainians, Isn't it ironic? So I do not feel sorry about those guys in the slightest. Vladimir Putin feels sorry because it's probably because he sent his condolences today, not too long ago, a couple hours ago. He said that Prigozhin was a man of hard fate, he had a difficult life, and he made many mistakes, but he meant well, something like that. So let me tell you, that Putin guy is quite something else. He sent condolences to Prigozhin's family. He's got nerves and guts. I gotta give it to him. An interesting fact, all field commanders who were at the start of the war in Donbass in 2014, who actually started the war in Donbass, who invaded Ukraine in Donetsk and Luhansk regions, provinces, and basically with, they led their own groups of gangsters, criminals, and they called themselves People Donetsk Republic, People Luhansk Republic. They people like Motorola, Givi, Zakharchenko, and the likes, the ones who were there from the very start, okay, they knew who gave the orders to start this ordeal, the war. They knew what really was happening. They knew how things got done. Guess what? They were all killed. And now, Wagner, Prigozhin, the boss of Wagner, his right-hand man, there are a couple high level of officers, commanders of Wagner were on a plane. They were killed too. And there are many, many more commanders of Wagner. Guess what's going to happen to them? Okay, let's talk about what has happened after the death of Prigozhin, and what versions there are about his death, what what they say in Russian propaganda, what killed him or who killed him, and the most important question for me is what's next and who's next. There's an opinion. I can't really prove it's true or not, but I tend to believe it. There's an opinion that Vladimir Putin has been absolutely furious since the mutiny, since the start of the mutiny, and he is ready to exterminate everyone who stands in his way. Well, not even that, who was part of that mutiny. Evgeni Prigozhin, Dmitry Utkin, and a couple top guys are down. Who stands next? All the field commanders of ЧВК Wagner, and then the fighters of the ЧВК Wagner. I mean, they all did the unthinkable. They didn't really, they did not commit a crime. They made a sin, okay? They declared a mutiny, and it was a slap into Vladimir Putin's face. They too captured Rostov. They captured military southern region IQ. They meet the IQ that where Russian war is being orchestrated from. They captured two top Russian generals. They humiliated them. They shot down multiple aircraft. They made Putin look weak and scary, small. He made a speech addressed to the nation, and if you saw that, you know what I mean. He was shaken. He looked scared. He looked small. For the first time, he looked just like a small guy, And he made another address later. He did not look well there either. So Wagner did not face he faced almost close to zero resistance from the army people, from KGB, from police on its 800-kilometer so-called justice march, okay? And he almost got into Moscow. He stopped very close from Moscow. That was an incredible slap in the face, humiliation that Putin suffered. And another real bad thing is that mutiny showed that it does not take much and it does not take long to change things in Russia, okay? And it became a precedent. It showed others the way. Others will follow, that I'm pretty sure. I don't know who they will be. I don't know when, but I am pretty sure they will follow. So Putin's been pretty furious since the mutiny, and now we are seeing his fury kind of taking result. Why now? Well, I'm pretty sure that things could have been taken care of, could have been taken care of right after the mutiny was off. But then Prigozhin, if he was killed back then, he would have been named, he would have been announced, he would have been admired as a martyr by millions of Russians. Because a person who stood up against the system and gave his life for that. And the results of that could be very, very dangerous for the current regime. That's why not early. Why now? Why not later? There's actually a good theory about that. I'm not the one who came up with it, but I agree. I think it has some logic and common sense with it. Why not later? Why, let's say, not in 6 months from now? Because Prigozhin stopped all his activity in Russia. He even moved ЧВК Wagner, his private army, out of Russia, and he placed it in Belarus. And it was absolutely obvious that Belarus was not the destination for ЧВК Wagner, but it was a transit point. Transit to where? I don't know. Most likely, the agreement was for to pick the best or the most needed fighters and transfer them to someplace else. Let's say to Africa. And the rest to be disbanded or to join Russian army, Ministry of Defense, or to go back to prisons. That also was a possibility. So, and Prigozhin, he switched his focus to Africa, where he came from, basically. So, and in Africa, he was a pretty energetic guy. So, he never stood idle, so to speak. He was making deals and was fairly successful at what he did. So he started offering not just security services to the customers in Africa, but I think he started offering like turnkey solutions. Don't forget, he had a large troll factory, and he started providing PR support, public relations support. He started providing trolls. He started providing telephone messaging, intimidations. Then he started providing services of his goons with guns. And most likely he started providing, offering turnkey services for installing new dictators as heads of African countries. And the more he'd be doing that, the stronger he'd become in Africa. To take care of him in Russia is one thing, but in Africa, if he's a buddy or a customer of one of the new presidents, so-called African presidents, with the army at his disposal, that's difficult, more difficult. So most likely that someone in Russia, and I don't know who, but perhaps Ministry of Defense, perhaps KGB, they desperately want to take over his operations, okay? And they felt that if they waited more, then it would be much more difficult to get rid of Prigozhin. So they decided to do it now. And actually, it sounds like a very logical version. So what happened right after Prigozhin's death in Russian information space? Russian information space, I'll remind you, consists of mostly propaganda, TV, radio, newspapers, radio shows, and telegram channels. They all support the war. They support Russian president. They are basically created and paid for by the Russian government. So they have the same message, only different angles, different wordings, and things like that. So what did they have to say? Well, let me tell you something. It's been pretty chaotic, and by this chaos, I understand that it was not expected for them. That no one knew it was coming. You see, the most important things in Russia, decisions made by the top people, they come very, very like all of a sudden, out of the blue. Like everyone knew Prigozhin was a dead man walking, but no one expected it to be executed, to be done yesterday. So people started reacting to his death, and of course, surprisingly enough, the voices have varied. From support, oh, Prigozhin was a good guy, he was the savior, the victor of Bakhmut, he was the potential savior of Russia, he made mistakes, but he was honest, sincere, he did well, and blah, blah. To, oh, he's not worthy mentioning, he's not worthy celebrating, he wanted to take power away from Putin. So imagine, that's left and right, and everything else is in between. It's pretty chaotic. So Solovyov, Russia's top propaganda person, called for the Wagner fighters to avenge their boss. I was like, what? What did you just say? It's out there in public, on YouTube, I believe, or in the videos. I didn't get it. Who was Solovyov referring to avenge? Right there, up. Crazy. So currently there are quite a few versions what happened to the plane and what happened to Prigozhin. And these are the versions. First, the bomb on board inside the plane. Second, the bomb on board but near the chassis, the wheels of the plane. Third, there were two bombs, both one inside and one near the chassis. Number 4, and this is my favorite version, of course, it's the Ukrainians. There's a Ukrainian trace, and Ukrainians are celebrating right now. And I'll talk about it just in a couple of minutes. Number 5, a technical malfunction. Number 6, and human error. Everyone outside Russia has been saying that the plane was shot down by Russian air defense system by a rocket S-200. But propaganda does not even mention this version is, it's actually, if they wanted to dismiss this version, it's so easy to do. All they have to do is to allow public, well, perhaps reporters, to get in or to show the pictures of the wreck of the plane and show us the fuselage, the body of the plane. It's very simple. If you don't want us to believe that the plane was shot down by S-200 missile by the Russian armed forces, but just show us that. It's easy, because the traces of S-200 rocket are, you can't make a mistake. Any expert will identify, immediately. Was it an explosion from inside of the plane, or it was hit by a rocket from outside of the plane? But guess what? It's none of your dog's business, they say. We have the best investigators, and you must trust us. You must trust our word. If we say it's black, you must trust it's black. If we say it's white, you must. Otherwise, there's no way around it. That's what you must and you will do. That's what the message to Russian people. But, of course, it's all secret. They don't show any evidence. They don't show anything. And I love the Ukrainian version. Ukrainian trace, that's the Ukrainians. The propaganda people, they mention this version, but not too much, okay? Like they're trying to touch and feel how Russian people would react. Why? Well, very simple, because this version is very, very dangerous. Look, if a missile launched by Ukrainians shuts down a private jet at the height of, like 25,000 feet, it's not a drone. Drones don't fly that high. Drones cannot, drone cannot shoot down the plane. So if a missile launched from as near as 35 miles from Putin's home by the Ukrainians, then what the hell is going on in Russia? The Ukrainians got so close to Moscow, so close to Putin's residence, 35 miles. Someone's going to pay for that. Someone's going to be punished, answer, lose their job, fired, So that's, well, obviously it's a bogus version, but that's what they also, I was waiting for this. When are they going to say, well, it's Ukrainians? They did say that. Ukrainians, they don't care about Prigozhin anymore. Why, if they cared so much, why wouldn't they kill them in Bakhmut when they had a chance, So, of course, now there are so many versions, and of course the official investigators must channel public opinion into a possible scenario. And that scenario is going to be absolutely opposite from what the truth is, from really what happened to the plane, truthfully what happened to the plane. And of course, they already have a version they're pushing. They're saying that one of the pilots is involved, and he was not on a plane, he's on vacation, and one of the owners of the company that a plane belongs to, well, somehow they must be connected to Prigozhin. They were connected. So, but anyway, that's them. They're prime suspects. And those people are on long vacations. They haven't been seen. One guy ain't seen in a long time. Another person is on vacation with a family. They have alibis, but it doesn't matter. So it's them. They're investigating them. Note that they all want to blame whoever they will blame for executing an act of terrorism. That is absolutely wrong. It was not an act of terrorism. It was an intended murder of two or more people. And there's a certain article of Criminal Code of Russian Federation. Terrorism is one thing, and intentional murder of two or more people is completely different thing. So they must use the murder article, but they're trying to, use the terrorism. What's next? Most likely, this what will follow. Evgeni Prigozhin. Some people in Russia, well, to my big surprise, he actually enjoyed big support in Russia. Somehow people in Russia are attracted to a strong man, and they just forget about what he did in front of the camera with one of the fighters who just simply wanted to escape. They forget how many deaths Prigozhin brought. They forget that he freed so many hardcore criminals from prisons. They forget all of that. They just see this heroic figure, okay? And some people have been saying, oh, we need to solidify memory in form of monuments. Yeah, right. Try to do that. You'll be arrested and charged with spreading fakes for the Russian army. So most likely, all memories of Prigozhin will be erased because Putin doesn't like Prigozhin and he doesn't like to recall what happened in late June of this year. Okay, most likely everything connected with Prigozhin and Wagner will be erased, or they will try to erase from Russians' minds. Number two, Private Army Wagner, who belongs to, we don't know who now, used to belong to Prigozhin, and the Prigozhin was its leader. Wagner will be disbanded. All fighters will be given a choice to they have been given a choice too. Now, they have already been disarmed, at least quite a lot of them. They were taking heavy armor and aircrafts. Yeah, they did have heavy armor and aircrafts, okay? They were being disarmed in Belarus. Now they already started disassembling their tent camp, okay? And most likely, those fighters who have not signed the contracts with Ministry of Defense will be either forced to sign and then sent to the front lines and specifically to be killed, or they would be sent back to prison or to the prisons where they came from, or they will be just executed. And number three, the elites, that's where it gets interesting. The elites now understand, and now it's been proven, that Vladimir Putin neither forgets nor forgives. Now, all the elites, all the power groups inside Russian vertical of power, they understand and they know, they're pretty sure, I'm sure, no pun intended, that if they start something, they will have to finish it. Otherwise, their planes might get shot down in the future, just like Prigozhin's did. The most important change of Russia's political landscape from now and on is the hunt for the war supporters, for the people who have been on the government's side, but they have their own opinions on how this war must be unfolded. These people, the people are like Igor Strelkov, arrested, Sergei Surovikin, arrested, fired from the armed forces 2 days ago, and most likely tortured, or they used medication on him while he was under arrest. Dmitry Peskov, missing, and no one is talking of him like he never existed. That's very odd. And now Evgeni Prigozhin was in the plane that was shot down with everyone around who was close to Evgeni Prigozhin in the plane. They're all dead. I would say the new Red Terror is on. The manhunt for the people is on. But oddly enough, it's not the people who are opposition. No, opposition's been rid of. It doesn't exist in Russia anymore. It's the people who have guts to have their own opinion, who support the war, who support the Putin, but they say something that goes a little against the party line. So I call it the new Red Terror, and I give the parallels to the Red Terror of Stalin back in the 30s. That's, by the way, in the new history books, Stalin is legitimized again. He's shown as a hero of Russia, basically. I'll make a separate stream about that. This manhunt, this new paradigm, this new shift, this new change is starting out slowly, but it'll gain velocity as time goes, and it'll start gaining velocity after the municipal elections that are coming up in the mid-September. Prigozhin's death shows clearly that Russia in 2023 is a mafia state run like mafia organization. Same rules, same values. Population is still loyal to Wagner for some obvious reason, again. And this reason is that for a very long time, at Putin's order, all Russian propaganda machine was making Wagner and Prigozhin heroes. Heroes, they were making them heroes for the entire year, for over a year. Starting from April of 2022 and until basically, February, probably. a little less than a year or so. Prigozhin was portrayed as the savior of Russia, and the Wagner fighters were Russia's true heroes, or made Russia's true heroes. Russia's top politicians were publicly supporting Prigozhin and making friends with him. All propaganda people were shouting, hailing him out loud. And now, Putin is trying to erase all Prigozhin and Wagner memories from people's heads. This is Russia. Summer of 2023 for you. I know for sure that the changes to the elites are coming, and the changes will be very brutal ones. The precedent has been made. Who's next? Honestly, I don't know. I don't even have a clue. All I know, it doesn't matter. It's going to be another either propaganda person or a general or a politician who has a little different views, a little different angle, a little deviation from the party line. And that person will be the next one. And then there will be the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Because this is summer of 2023. This where all this tragedy has brought Russia to. And postscriptum, I have one big unanswered question for myself right now. Will ЧВК Wagner fighters accept their fate? Or will they have to say the last word? They are still Russia's best army after all. My friends, this has been my message for today. Thank you so much for coming. This is my honor to have you here. Thank you. I would like to get feedback from you. Let me know what you think of the message. And very important today, I will try to answer all the questions that you will throw at me, because, this is the situation when things kind of unfolding in front of our eyes. Let me turn the live stream chat on, and I invite everyone to move there to converse. Thank you. And while I'm doing that, I'd love to ask you to help me out a little bit. Please make reposts of this message in your social media accounts if you liked what I just said. Thank you so much. And if you'd like to buy me a coffee or a tea, an English breakfast perhaps, I'd love that. Thank you in advance. I wouldn't mind. If you're not seeing the live stream chat comments, would you please refresh the page and you will see that. Thank you. The mods, howdy, and thank you so much. Lorna, Mommy, Bob S. Anyone else today? Looks like the three of you. If things get out of control, just signal me. We'll try to stay on time. The usual suspects, thank you so much for coming. And you here for the first time, if you're here for the first time, please know that we have the best mod team in the world. If you want me to see your comment, message, or question, would you please consider putting it in caps, all caps, and putting inside Russia after @ sign, so I see it pop out highlighted in orange, just like Bob S did, saying howdy inside Russia in the mod team. Thank you so much. Couple super chats from MacFun from Switzerland. Thank you. May the force of gravity be with you. Thank you. I hope that it will not turn against me. Thank you so much. And Santa's Whiskey. It must have been a random sledgehammer that's been thrown into the air that took the plane down. Actually, I was thinking of this, the guy that, like the Viking god. There was a movie about him. He had a sledgehammer and he would throw it and it would return to him. I forgot his name, but it could have been him. Dieter from Munich, guten Abend, thank you for your support. Danke schön, thank you. No message, but it's taken and well understood and appreciated. Nor I, thank you for gifting 10 sponsorships to Russian insiders. There you go. Thank you, appreciate it, and 10 more people appreciate it too. Thank you. And Ernst Connell, thank you very much for your support. Again, no message, but the message is heard and welcomed and appreciated. Thank you so much. KG1, yes, a question. There are always questions from KG1. Do you think it's now open for any adversary to attempt to assassinate and blame it on Wagner retaliation? No. It doesn't work like that, no. Plain and simple, no. I don't believe, I'm asking this question, will Wagner do something about it? It's going to be real tough because they don't have that many people anymore. They are not that well armed, and they don't have Prigozhin. They don't have leadership, so. But we'll see. Time will tell, you know. Rebecca 820, thank you so much. Jim Beam, good Abend. Koshkin Dom, hello. Pizza Man from good afternoon from I don't know where, from Pizza Land. Alan Thompson, howdy. Trying to look for comments in caps. Is this event provoke a Russian version of either Hunger Games or Squid Games? I don't know. Arturo, is this a joke? I don't know. I don't think so. Prigozhin died quite differently from Squid Games. Okay, it's much quicker, much more effectively. I don't have any guesses who the next 3 wants to become ghosts. I'm sorry, I have no clue. Florian Guy, I watched this channel for many months now. It's great and became one of my favorite ones. Konstantin, thank you so much. German Baltic Sea, thank you so much. Guten Abend and Danke schön, thank you. Thank you for your support. Much appreciated. The words are absolutely priceless and wonderful. Priceless and wonderful. From Denmark, Heine Nissen, thank you. What do you think of the reasoning? As follows, if all people, good or bad, in Russian politics just gets killed, when will Russia ever progress as people and maybe even country? All people in Russian politics just get killed. I mean, that's not good. I'd rather see them put on trials, sentenced, and perhaps sent to Hague. You know, we're not God. We cannot just wish they just get killed. I don't wish anyone gets killed. I'm sorry. It's up to God to decide whose life ends, whose life doesn't end. And at one point, you know, I don't even want to think about it. Nasetka, thank you so much. Prigozhin, can we hate the sin but love the sinner? May Almighty God have mercy on his soul. I guess it's hard. Let's put it this way. I'm not gonna pray for him. I don't want to remember that guy. I don't want to recall him. I just want him to just be away from my memory, and that's it. He really messed up there. You know, I see the pictures of people he executed, and once you see them, you cannot unsee them. You know what I mean? So, yeah, may God have mercy on his soul. Julie W., thank you for 5 gifts of membership to inside Russian Insiders. Russian Insiders, thank you so much. Robert Whip, thank you. I appreciate your support. No message, but again, message is heard. Thank you. Andreas Mai, how many of you Russian fellows still think that they're not living in a mafia state? Most of them. Brainwashed. What's with women? Also booze their head away? Believe it or not, but I know quite a few women who don't drink. They don't booze. They don't do anything illegal, but they somehow brainwashed. I don't have the answer for that question. Remember, 3 days or 4 days ago, I made a stream on how Russian propaganda works. They send a message in tiny dosages, but through hundreds of different channels, in hundreds of different messages from different people. And most likely, you know, if you hear this day after day after day, in different forms, from different people, it somehow gets inside your head. I think that's what they have done with Russians. Michael Yukon, howdy, great to see you. Thank you so much for your support. RW, fantastic to see you back. The Bomb and Wine, great theory, is a copy-paste of Operation Spark, a plot to kill Hitler with bombs and bottles of Cointreau on Hitler's plane. Why would Putin do something so likely to fail when he could simply shoot down? Again, all they need to do is to show the public the pieces of fuselage. Do they have this specific holes in them that the missiles leave? Show them to any expert, and all questions will be answered. Terry Hildenbrand, thank you so much. Thank you very much. I appreciate the support. Dan Coldwell, good day. Thank you, Sam K. Good to see you too. Ozzy Baga, Vlad Vexler talks of Putin's inner circle. Can you name these people Putin trusts, listens to, who they are? Well, Vlad Vexler must have named them, and if he talks about them. One of the people is Patrushev, that's for sure. That's the person who he listens to. The Kovalchuk brothers, Vlad could have talked of someone else. I mean, you know, are you like fact-checking me or something? NZN, what are you listening to on your headphones? Music, you know. It's called monitoring. I'm listening myself. I'm listening if I am heard to you. It's called live stream monitoring. Just Terry, thank you so much. Thank you. Patsy, good to see you still smiling and kicking. Well, I just had a 2-week break. And I'm not that tired yet. I'm still feeling great from the break, and I'm feeling reinforced by the old loved ones around me. So, friends, I'm just getting started. Do you feel sorry for the pilots and the young flight attendant? Flight attendant probably had nothing to do with a bunch. I do feel sorry for her. Pilot, I don't know. Was he a part of ЧВК Wagner? I have no clue. I don't care. Most likely he was, because ЧВК Wagner had own aircraft. League City, Texas, howdy. He had to die. He was a dead man walking. Like I said in that stream, 26th, 27th of June. The link is going to be, earlier here. Charlie B from Pacific Beach, California. Howdy. Baker Stock. Howdy, howdy. Mama Two Boys. Dave Strains. Bob Brennan from Wisconsin, USA. Howdy, howdy. Joe Drames. Thank you. I received the message. Didn't quite understand on Facebook. Joao Marinos. Hello. Janice Hendrickson from Canada. Salutations. Cindy Lavbani from Ottawa. Hello, hello. Lise Dombrell. Sorry, I can't afford Patreon anymore. It's no problem, don't have to. Just keep on coming back and, drop us lines here. Ken BF65, any news from Peskov? No, like he never existed. I see there are two different paths the situation can take, you can go to. The first path is he will just disappear and no one will be remembering him. He's most likely will be blacklisted in all Russian media, so no one would even remind people of him. For some reason, I don't know. The second, he will pop up like nothing happened and say, oh, I've been on vacation. For what, like 5 weeks? Yeah, you missed this and that's pretty important stuff. Well, I was on vacation. So it means that he would be either forgiven or they'd make a deal with him or something like that. Anyway, but he's missing right now. That's crazy. Amy, howdy, howdy. Kevin Baker, real estate team, hello from Texas. Sending my love to Texas from Uzbekistan. Eugene Lindsay, do you still believe that Putin will be gone by the end of 2023? Vero Beach, Florida. Yes, I do. I stand by my opinion. I do so. Alvin, thank you so much for good words. Cape Canaveral, Florida. Peggy MZ, howdy, howdy. In case you live by the sword, you die by the sword. Ron, cannot agree with you more. Pinda the Peanut, thank you so much. Thank you. Who were the other people? There was, I think, one or two pilots. I think one pilot was one flight attendant, and the rest were his assistants, closest circle of Chevika Wagner, if you mean who was in the plane. Kaltenberg, howdy. Ed Marth, thank you so much. Sending love to Canada. Thank you. Simon Eddy, Game of Thrones, the Russian series. Good evening. I don't like the Game of Thrones. I don't watch the series, because it's just too much time. I don't have time. And this particular one, I tried. I gave it a chance. The problem with this thing is it doesn't make any sense. They make one film like 30 minutes or 1 hour, and it has a story and it has plot, but the next one is completely different, and you never know what's going to happen in the next one, and it just doesn't make any sense. It's not like one long story. They just make one independent, like many independent tiny movies with the same characters, and that's it. That's why I don't like the Game of Thrones, and I don't like this series in general. SC Junk, got to say that I rarely respond to you because of your on-point accuracy, but that doesn't mean that I necessarily agree. But today, interesting. Prigozhin has been dead. How come? Falls 9 kilometers into the field and burns. Yes, he's dead. That's exactly what happened to him. And actually, there's a video of plane falling down. Demonicus, new here on the internet, is it is forever. So how do Putin think he can erase Prigozhin from history? Well, he can erase internet from Russian homes for one. For once. For another, he can erase from media, from Russian YouTube, from TV, from everywhere, you know. This is how. Santa's whiskey. On a more serious note, today we should celebrate that one of the most evil entities in the world had its head cut off. Do you mean ЧВК Wagner? Even if it was another evil entity that did it? In my mind, the head was cut off on June 26th or 27th, after Prigozhin all of a sudden turned around and said, "We're going back to Belarus. We're not going back into Moscow." That was it. That was so obvious that the guy is done. It's just a matter of time for him and for his private army. But I'm glad that they are no more, because they captured my city, Rostov-on-Don. And let me tell you, one of my daughters was there, and it was not a pretty comfortable feeling, knowing that all the rapists have captured Rostov, and the police officers, you know, KGB, army, they just flew. They escaped. They running away, running for their life, for their lives. It was not a pretty feeling. So I am so glad that the Hydra had his heads cut off. Its heads cut off. So Santa's whiskey, thank you. Amir, howdy, great to see you. Thank you for gifting the sponsorship to 5 people. Thank you. Alias, Russian Tool, you admit that nobody kills Nazis. Russian Troll, oh, there you go. There's a version that a bomb was placed inside a wine crate. Yeah, I heard at least 2 versions. Wine crate that was placed in the bathroom. Yeah, there's going to be 100,000s of versions now. But if you hear them from the Russian propaganda, 100%, that's not how it happened, okay? Karolis, Kozlauchinos, hello from Lithuania. Could it be that Prigozhin is really alive, that he was just some sort of a trick? Well, Karolis, thank you so much for coming. Thank you. It's an honor to have you here. You know, every time I see someone from the Baltics, warms my heart. Thank you for your support, and thanks for the question. I personally, I mean, anything is possible in this world, right? But I personally believe that Prigozhin is dead. I believe that he was finished yesterday. Why? Because he offended someone really important in Russia. He slapped him in the face. He tried a thing that not one single Russian, not organization, not company, not a foreign government had ever tried: to dethrone him, to, you know, throw him out of the Kremlin. And he publicly said that. He said Putin made a mistake. We're going to Moscow. We're going to dethrone Putin, you know, rid of him. No one had ever done that. And there's no way Prigozhin would be living. Even if if Prigozhin was on the second plane and he survived this attempt on his life, if it was attempt, then when second plane landed in Moscow, I think the special team would enter the plane and would shoot him in the head, okay? So I don't believe that he is alive. I believe that very important person or very important people want him dead. Um, RW, thank you so much for gifting 5 sponsorships to people. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Jason Carney, thank you so much for coming back and coming in with a big bang. Bang, bang. Thank you so much. You're the champion of supporting the channel from me and from my wife. We really appreciate it. And thanks for gifting 5 people with the gifts of sponsorship. Thank you. Robert Whip, weird day today. One time it's all about one specific person, and the next day it's already a different person. I think you meant to say weird times that we are living in, and I totally agree with you. Thank you so much. Joe Dreams, good question. Now, that's what weaponization of government against its critics is really like. Yes. Yep. In Russia, it just gets another meaning, you know. Tor. Thank you. I was thinking of Tor. Perhaps Tor was really upset with Prigozhin, and he just bang threw his sledgehammer and then back. Huh? How about that? Thank you, Alexander Kutuzov. Thank you so much. Jazz Guru, thank you. Jeffrey S. How many Wagner troops are there? That's a good question. Look, Prigozhin claimed he had 25,000 guns. I don't believe it's true. I think he had fewer, but let's say 20,000. ЧВК Wagner was halved. One part was sent to Belarus, another part, I think, sent to Africa. So if he had 20,000, let's say, I definitely heard of 5,000 in Belarus. They arrived early. From the pictures that I saw recently of the campsite that they had so many tents, I tried to count probably from 10 to 15,000 people living there in that tent city that's being dismantled. And it means that Wagner does not have that many people left. I mean, where have they been moved to starting yesterday? No one knows. Where are those people? No one knows. An interesting detail also. Local police they have lists of all ЧВК Wagner fighters because they were released from prisons, right? So they started calling the families, knocking on doors at their homes and trying to get information. Oh, where's your husband? Where's your dad? Calling them saying we need to know their location, exact location, and so forth, you know. So that's another sign that those ЧВК Wagner people are under very particular attention, you know, from the government. That's how I would say it. Piggy Maximus, thank you so much. I have not been able to catch you live for a while. I hope you're doing awesome. Well, trying to. Thank you so much. Can't complain now. Thank you. And Amir, thanks for another 5 gifts of sponsorships. Thank you, thank you, thank you. No. Jill, I don't think they were forced to get on the plane. No, it's Prigozhin's plane. He flew 3-4 times a day from different country to different country. I mean, Africa is not too far from Russia, okay? So he would fly from Moscow to St. Petersburg, back and forth to Belarus, to his camp. You know, no, of course not. He made jokes. He went live from his planes in the past, from like flying, moving one place to another. No. Fury Jack, are you expecting Wagner to go out for revenge? And this is the very last question I asked. I am waiting to see whether Wagner is going to be completely disbanded and will be just a memory that's going to be erased, or they will actually have the last word. Waiting. I don't know. The god is called Thor. Thank you so much, super sweet. What happened to the people on board of the second business jet that turned back to the same Moscow airport? Nothing, I don't know. They probably just got off the plane. Ex-Flying Tiger, John and Nikki from Lake Shasta. That's okay, you are not late, we're just in time. What was in the second plane? Who was? I don't know. Evgeni Prigozhin always used both planes at the same time for reasons not known to me, so I don't know. Jason Carney, thank you for 10 more gifts of sponsorship. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. And 777 Danny, thank you so much. No message, but the message is heard and much appreciated. Thank you. Ron, Wagner doesn't have leader now, so I don't see any retaliation. I tend to believe that as well. I think that leadership is absolute must for things like that, so. Bonnie Bethel, great to see you. Long time no see. Good afternoon. Doing well, and I hope you're doing well as well. Okay, folks. Looks like Macfan, one of the Dark Lord on his dark throne, one ring to rule them all, one ring to find them, one ring to bring them all in the darkness and bind them, the land of Russia where the shadows lie. Thank you. Hard to disagree with you, you know. Thank you. Folks, that's pretty much it for today. I'd like to invite everyone to pray along with me. Hang on. Thank you. Tomorrow will be a new stream, another stream at the same time, usual time. And it's called, it's going to be called Meanwhile in Russia. Economic news updates. I might throw in other news besides economic news, but that's going to be definitely crazy. So please come back and watch. And I have a couple super chats I'll answer real quick. From Mike Rizhikov. Who is going to lead and fight the war now? Wagner was the only capable unit, and with Purge it seems like Ukraine won't be Putin's priority. Russia will be priority. Well, that's good, isn't it? From Ramenskaya, I know where that is. St. Louis, look, I don't know who's gonna fight, and that's a good thing. Because the less they fight in Ukraine, the better I feel. Okay, the fewer people die, the better I feel. The sooner the bloodshed stops, the better I feel. If Putin, I've said many times, at different interviews, here at live streams, Russia will not be defeated by anyone but Russia itself. It's going to be defeated from within Russia, okay? And this is what's going to happen. Thanks for the message and thanks for the super chat. And Crusader Damien, it's looking like Wagner may be a thorn on Putin's side. We have seen photos of nuclear launchers in Moscow streets. Is that true? I don't know. I've not seen anything like that. As far as I know, nothing's changed in Moscow. All the police and the reserves were called up in Rostov because they were afraid of riots, but nothing happened yesterday. So, folks, let's wrap it up. Tomorrow, please come back for the crazy news update. And today, I invite everyone to pray along with me. Please pray if you're religious. If you're not, you can call it whatever you want. Send good wishes, good karma, good vibes, good energy to people. Doesn't matter. To me, it's the same, so please, let's pray. Dear Lord Jesus Christ, thank you for giving us this day. Thank you for putting food on our tables and giving roofs over our heads. Thank you for surrounding us with people who we love and who love us. Please give us wisdom to keep the skies above our children's heads peaceful, and give us wisdom to grow our children the way that when they become adults, they will make this place a better world, and they will do a better job than us in running this world. For now, please keep them healthy and keep them safe. Dear Lord, please help stop the bloodshed in Ukraine. The country has suffered so much. The people have suffered so much. Please serve your justice and stop the bloodshed. Reach out and touch people who are capable and responsible. Reach out and touch the hearts, the souls, the brains, do anything that is necessary. Fill the hearts with love, or kick them in the butts. Do whatever so they wake up from their lethargic sleep, open their eyes and realize what they have done, and they will finally make the decision to stop the bloodshed. Please send every Ukrainian an angel to keep people away from harm's way. And dear Lord, please help my country assemble the strongest angels with sharpest swords in one mighty heavenly army led by Saint Michael, and send it down to earth like the avalanche from your kingdom to get rid of all the demons that have hijacked my country. Have angels run Russia. Please make it peaceful, respected, respectful, loved, and loving others. Please send help to everyone who is traveling. Please send them safe travels. Send help to everyone who is seeking for asylum, especially families with children. Help all single mothers who are raising their children and struggling making their ends meet. Please help everyone who is in Ukraine suffering from the Russian strikes right now. God bless all those who are helping Ukrainians, opening their hearts, wallets, doors, and praying for them. Dear Lord, please help people in Maui who have suffered, who lost the loved ones. Help those who are hungry, sick, jobless, homeless, addicted, depressed, not feeling well about themselves, struggling with their faith. Please surround them with your love and warmth. Fill their hearts with love. Send them help. Send them angels. So these people will feel better about themselves. They will get up from their knees onto their feet, and they will feel your love, and they will see sun shining over them again, and they will have a chance to have happy life. Thank you so much for bringing us together and allowing us to pray together. Thank you for that. Please help everyone who's praying along with me or simply watching us pray. Thank you. Answer everyone's prayer and make everyone's wish come true. Dear Lord, I have a few people who I would like to ask for. They need your help. They are Jason Corner, Jay Spike, Janice Stevenson, Frank in Texas, Vasilin Lubomirov, Nathan, Hannah, Nina, Janine, Gloria Roberts and her brother, Ann Larson, her family and daughter Hannah, Lise Dumbrell and her grandparents, Darla, Beep, George Ruberty, Dave Strains, Shirley and Debbie, Wayne, the Highwayman, David Porter, his family, and everyone who is in Chernovtsi, Ukraine, Stefan from Sweden, Susan Marshall, Meta Spencer, Joan Lee McMahon, Pamela J., Michael Yukon, Yelena, Natasha, Jake, Michael, Oля, Dasha, Bonnie, Svetlana, Paul Beans, Dirk, Linda, Randolph, Grace, Mr. Dean Spooner and his church called Our Savior Lutheran Church, Susie Mailer, Karen from Maine, Lori Miles' husband, Rafaela From, Dear Lord, I'm also asking for Taylor Fleming and for a girl whose name is Sarah. She's fighting for her life. Please help her, send her recovery, send her strength, and send her good health. Send angels to help her out, and please send help her parents, answer their prayers, and give them strength to go through this hard time. Dear Lord, please help all children who are suffering from Ukraine, who have been affected by this terrible tragedy, and all children from Russia. Thank you so very much. Amen. My friends, thank you so much for giving me a chance, for listening. As usual, I am very grateful and thankful for you, for your presence, for you being part of Inside Russia. Thank you. Come back tomorrow for a crazy news update. I'll be here at the usual time. And before signing off, I would like to ask you to finish off the stream along with me by saying out loud, just repeat after me, as loud as you can, Carthago delenda est.